really want to show you this really cool gift that I made for my cousin's baby shower. So I handmade this box, okay, using some chipboard, and I covered that chipboard with paper. So they've got some white cardstock here, making it look like a frame. I would recommend, if you're going to do something like this with a cutout and some acetate, this is actually an 8x8 page protector that I cut. Don't adhere this until you have created what you need here. I had some issues where I wanted to just do this. However, I had already cut my stuff and everything is just off. So I would recommend not putting the acetate on until you have covered or cut the covering for the box. So that is what this is. And then I used a stamp just to kind of stamp this little bit here because I think that's super cute. So this lands on top of my box, perfect clearance. And then I custom made the bottom of the box. Again, super cute, covered with white paper on the sides and then a gray on the back. And then black here, and you can see that I covered each seam with just some white paper. So that is consistent. It looks beautiful. This did take me a very long time. This almost took me longer than the album. It was crazy. So the reason I wanted to do a baby album is because this is my cousin's first baby, and I'm very excited for her, and I'm going to her baby shower. And I feel like normally when people do mini albums, they choose to do something like this with this binding here. Or they use the pre-created ones like I have here and just fill it with paper, which is absolutely fine. However, I have the Bind It All from Zutter, which is similar to the We Are Memory Keepers cinch. And I really just wanted to use this binding and because of one specific feature. The fact that you can open this and go like this. With this, you can't do that. You can't turn it. It is stuck at the position it is in. And I'll show you why I want to do that. So this image I purchased off of Etsy, and the color scheme that I chose was the Sage Neutrals for Boho Baby, because my cousin said that her favorite color right now for her baby is that sage green, and I think this is absolutely adorable. So what I did is I tried to cut this out on my silhouette and it just wasn't going to work. So I ended up fussy cutting the whole image as a background, and then I printed it 3 times. So this is the first image. Second image, I cut the bear and some of the floral out. And then the third time, I cut the face and this. So there is some dimension to this baby's face, which I think is super cute. And just a great touch for this album. Now, we don't know if it's a boy or a girl. I mean, I don't know the name yet. I don't know what they've decided. So I'm just leaving this as is, and I think that's super cute. They can, if they want, to go in and add the names and those kinds of things. So let's go through the pages. So this, again, is on the same chipboard that I used for the box, and I'll link that Amazon link down below. I really like their chipboard. I've used it for other boxes. If you want, you can see the thickness here. That is pretty dang thick. So this chipboard is something I would use on books, something like this, right? Or boxes. And that's why I purchased the chipboard, is because I have plans to customize my craft room for the needs that I need it, and that is the best way to do it. You can also see this is how I bound the box. I just took pieces of paper, scored them at the 1/2 inch mark, and then cut them at the inch mark, and then folded them to get these bindings. So that is what technique I use to do that. Back to the book. So book, awesome, love it. I covered this whole thing and then added a pocket so they can put any memorabilia. Now my idea behind this page, because we don't know if it's a girl or a boy yet, is to cover. There's a pink clock underneath here, so I covered the pink clock. You see all the neutrals, but then there's the pink florals. And the idea is this is a photo for a pregnancy, like a photo picture. That's why I have that there. Now, we'll go through and look at each of them. I accidentally messed up. So when I was binding my album, I had the front covers done, and those directions didn't really matter. I had waited to adhere this guy on here until I was already done punching the holes and had the thing bound. I waited to add this. I waited to add the pocket as well. But I accidentally punched the lower right-hand corner, so I had to come up with some creative ways to cover it. Okay, so this time I decided to go ahead and use the same wood grain paper in the same direction as a frame. And then I had already had this piece of paper down here, so I figured I would just cover it again. Unfortunately, it's not the same direction. I don't know that she's going to notice. So the idea for this spread is the baby shower photos or anything else, or the birth photos, anything they want to add. So I used the Lost Shadow Nude Distress Oxide ink color, and I think that it works perfectly. It's light enough and just follows with the theme of the colors of this album. So I thought this kind of looked like a stork. I have no idea what kind of bird this is, but that's why I chose that one. And then my photo mats are not adhered where they're overlapped, so they can tuck the photo in. They are cut at 4 1/8 and 6 1/8, so that there will be a 1/16 inch border around the entire photo. I am providing them with some double-sided adhesive that I picked up from Joann's, and it comes in a pack of 4. So they can adhere the photos. I don't expect her to be a scrapbooker and have all of the things available to her that I have available, so I do want to provide them with this. Okay, so keeping with the theme of the color palette, I picked the It's a Boy collection. Now, I tried to pick the things that aren't boyish. So there is a mobile in this paper that has trains. I covered the trains. Right? Super simple to do. Now, it doesn't look like a boy layout. It just looks like we're using the color scheme. So I've got the spot for photos, and then these are actually 4x3 cards. And my idea is that they can use some kid-approved washable ink to stamp a hand and a footprint every month. So this is month 1, month 2. That is why I wanted to be able to go like this. Because when you are stamping a baby's hand, they are squirmy and wiggly, and you need a hard surface in order to do the stamping. You also need 2 people, for sure. You want somebody to hold the book and hold the hand and that kind of thing. So I'm providing her with some brown ink because that is a neutral color. I would have liked to do black instead. However, where I purchased this from, it didn't have black. Bummer. So we're doing brown, and I think it's kind of cute that it's chocolate scented. I think that's really funny. So handprint, footprint every month. And that is how I've done all of the months. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, using that clock paper, but I covered the pink clock that sits right about here. So it's more neutral. So we're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So you can see that I stuck to the color scheme, which is awesome. Now I did add additional paper. So I added an additional page so that they can put whatever they want in this album. Now notice I didn't embellish. I didn't add the months. I figured they don't have to use this as a baby album. They can use this as a kid album, whatever they want, right? So I'm choosing to leave this very simple, choosing to have the paper speak for itself. They can add journaling if they want. They can not add journaling if they want. Those kinds of things. I also left these 4x3 cards blank because I figured I can provide them with a tutorial of how to use the Project Life app, which I will link that video for you as if you want to provide somebody else with that tutorial. Very easy to use. And they can actually just print photos here, or they can handwrite a story, or they can put handprints, whatever they want. So I left these pieces of paper blank on purpose. Okay, so there's my last 2 pages again. They can slip it under because I did not adhere this side. And the last page with an additional pocket. So I figure they can stick any of the cards that they receive in the mail in here. They can stick any memorabilia, like the baby's little band and mama's little band from the hospital. All those kinds of things can go in both of those pockets. And again, great thing that I specifically chose to do was this binding so that they can flip it all the way closed and get that baby's handprints. I will say I like the fact that we put this binding on the inside cover because it's protected. And I can just make sure that that's done. Back page, dark green on purpose, and I stamped again that little image. So that is the baby album I have been working desperately on to get done in time, because I started this project on Monday and the baby shower is on Saturday and I'm leaving on Friday. So just wanted to provide you with some inspiration and ideas if you decide to do a baby album as well. I'm also doing this so that in the future, if I have another baby album that I really want to do, I can look back at what I did for this album. This album does measure 8.5 by 8.5 for the pages, and then 1/8 of an inch larger, or 3/16 of an inch larger on the covers. What I would recommend is look at the binding tool that you have, either the cinch or bind it all. The instructions will show you what size to make the album. So in the case of the Zutter, they actually recommend an album cover of 8.5, and then the pages be 3/16 less, so that you do get a margin around that protects the pages on the inside, and you get an even binding. This is like super nitpicky, but if you notice, this is a little bit bigger than this, but nobody else and their mom is going to realize that this is bigger than this. So just look at the instructions first. I made the mistake of completing all the pages and the album cover before actually looking at the instructions. So no for next time, not a big deal. But I hope you enjoyed this little explanation of what I created for my cousin's baby shower. I really like this. Downside is they're not going to be, like, if this is flimsy, they're not going to be able to put much weight on it unless it will not, like, this is pretty dang sturdy with all the paper and everything that I added. So, oh, I do want to mention on this part, if you do want to do a window, what you want to do is cut your pieces the width that they need, and then when you go to adhere, you're going to adhere it so you have the small piece here and stopping here, so that instead of just one edge, you're on 2 edges. Same with this. So I've got the big piece, I'm going to stop here, so I have 1 and 2 edges on this cardboard, and then you're going to glue the seam here and here, so it kind of looks like this underneath. Hopefully that makes sense. But that is my baby album. Don't forget to check out everything else that's happening this month. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time.